I truly love this freaking guitar. I don't really play this guitar that often, but it is just a mean freaking machine. I mean, if you're gonna get a Les Paul and you're gonna put Floyd Rose on it, and you're committing complete sacrilege, that's what I call it. Put a reverse banana headstock on it, put some Seymour Duncans in it, put split coil on it, and just bind the neck with a beautiful maple fingerboard, and you end up with an Assault Plus. It's made a little thinner than the real Gibson. Get the weight down. It still has the arch top. Negative neck angle. Perfect. It's not just a Les Paul with a tremolo. Kramer, which is owned by Gibson, they said, okay, well, we're going to do a Floyd Rose Les Paul. Well, it's not like an Access. You know, they didn't want to do that. They made it their own guitar. Changed the volume locations, the tone locations, and in my opinion, it's in the proper spot. It's not like a Les Paul where everything's back here. You can get to this. Nice change. Good job, Kramer. They did not put a special on this guitar. It's a Floyd Rose 1000. It's a good tremolo. You can do a lot with this tremolo. You want a little more sustain? You can add $20 and put a bigger block on it. You want a little bit more bright and attack? Put some stainless steel saddles on it. But the base plate and the posts and everything that makes the tremolo good is already there. I mean, these are fresh strings, guys. I put these strings on like 3 hours ago. About 20 minutes before the stream, I locked it down. Be abusive. If you can't do that with your tremolo guitar, you need to send it to me and I'll fix it. A tremolo guitar should return to zero properly. You should be able to abuse it. These are brand new strings. Now, these are Devastator's strings of choice. These are the Super Slinkies. That's what he asked me to put on it. I'm not a big Super Slinky guy, but that's okay. That's the strings that he likes. The guitar is going to Devastator. So I have tried to set this instrument up to where he can just abuse the piss out of it, and it's going to hold tune for him. Now, things that I did to the guitar, I'm trying to get it in the light to where it'll show it. Ooh, right there. Look at the shiny frets. Shiny. I like shiny frets. Shiny frets mean, ooh, smooth. Now, no guitar leaves here unless I at least go over it. Okay, now Devastator didn't do anything extra. He didn't ask me to set the guitar up. He didn't ask me to modify it. But I want to make sure the guitar is 100% when it leaves here. I don't remember if I found any bad frets when I did the initial review on it, but I did find 2 spots when I went downstairs and checked it. I think I did record it, so that will come out. But so if I'm wrong, don't shoot me. But I'm pretty sure it was the E string, very top, 4th fret, and just right below the E, up, had a little tiny rock, and somewhere down here on the high E, it had a spot, just from the high E down. So 2 teeny weeny spots. I touched those up, sanded the fret, then I fret erasered all the frets. Okay? Now, a lot of people claim you can just do a fret eraser and you get a polished fret. I guess if you spend 6 or 7 hours sitting there with a fret eraser at 6,000 grit, maybe you can. So I went down to 5,000 grit on the fret erasers, got the frets the same, and I gave them 2 passes with blue compound. But I did not go back and really sand on the frets, if that makes sense. So if you polish a fret that has bad scarring from the factory where they just went over it with the leveling tool and they didn't sand those spots out, polishing really isn't going to get those spots out, guys. You need to go back over it with sandpaper. And when you do that and you're doing it individually and you're not doing a full crown and dressing, you can end up creating more problems, okay? Doing touch-up work like this, I recommend hitting it with a fret eraser, okay? Get the frets consistent before you polish them. And any little spots that are still in the frets, don't worry about it. They're polished. There are still a couple little spots in these frets, and it's just tooling marks, okay? And when I did the original review, I don't even remember if I saw those, and I didn't see it until I polished it. They're not bad, but when you shine a fret like this, every little imperfection will come out. But the guitar plays great. I set up the tremolo. The tremolo is setting dead even to the body, okay? And I adjusted his pickup height. Now these are just basic adjustments. Some people might want to lower the pickups if they're too bitey, or maybe they're not bitey enough and they want to crank them up a little bit. I usually set my pickups a little high compared to most people. I like the bite, so I put this in between where I would put them in an average setup. Just give it a little bit more on the pickup, but not so much to where if I roll it off and I do cleaning, it's going to turn muddy sounding, if that makes sense. The JB pickup, there's a reason why everyone loves it. They're articulate. They're clean where they need to be clean. They break up. It's a great pickup. Are there higher gain, more push pickups out there? Yes, there are. But I find the JB finds the sweet spot. It's got enough push to really... But if I come over here and I go to clean, and I go to my center position, they still clean up. That's a beautiful sound. Listen to that. Now I'm over peaking just a little bit right there. I could see it in my VU meters. And we can split the coils. So let's leave it in the center position, but right now we're going to have the two inner coils. Turn it up a little bit. That's just a great sounding pickup. It's a good sounding pickup set. Hard to beat a JB and an SH4. You don't know what you're playing? JB and SH4. They do everything really, really well. Got a little smack to them. Now we can go humbucker and single. It's a great sounding pickup set. And if we go over to like a high gain, you can still use the humbucker and add that single in the neck to give it just a little bit of that open sound. Definitely too loud now. Cut that back a little bit. And you can hear it when I hit the single notes. The JB with the SH4 split in the center position, it has a sound. I almost hate I sold this guitar. Now if we take that pickup out, we just go to the bridge. But if we add that single coil, it just opens the guitar up to that more blues. That doesn't mean that you just can't go up and play around in the neck position, because the SH4 is a kick butt pickup. This is just the humbucker in the neck. You want to do some bar chords in the neck? It's very warm. I can't even play my own riff. down to our bridge position, and you'll hear that it gets a lot more, edgy. Again, go up to our center position. Let's split that neck and do the exact same thing. You're going to hear the bite of the bridge, but that single coil is going to add a little flair to it. That's really and on this guitar, that's really my favorite combination. And you could take some of the quack out. You can lower the volume on that bridge. I mean on the neck. Okay? Just put a little bit in it. Really, the best, in my opinion, when going out and playing, you can just roll this out and you can get all the gain. That you need to get. Roll it back a little bit, it cleans up. The JBs are awesome. And of course, certain pickups go really well in some guitars. This particular guitar, the way it's constructed and the materials, the JBs just shine. The SH4 shines in this guitar. It really does. Kramer knocked it out of the park with this thing. Why these guitars don't get the love that they deserve, it's truly a fantastic instrument. If you have the opportunity to play a Bagel Burst or this blue purple one, okay, do yourself a favor, pick it up. You might be surprised. Even if you're not a Les Paul person, it doesn't play like a Les Paul. It has a Les Paul body, but it plays like a rock machine. Not saying a Les Paul is not a rock machine. It doesn't have the weight of the Les Paul. It just doesn't. It has the feel as far as the way it fits on your leg and the positioning, but it doesn't have that heavy mass that a Les Paul has. Don't be scared to play with the bar. Just like I said, if you can't play it like you stole it, then you need to send the guitar to me and I'll fix the bridge. But this will be the last night that this guitar gets played. It'll be the last time we see it, and I'm sure Devastator will post pictures of it on the Discord once he receives it. But it is set up and it is... It's ready for him to abuse. everything about this thing just hollers. That's something else that I like about the JB. Sometimes when I'm playing this, the lower note will override, seem more punchy than riding in the A position. The JB is very even. I don't want to wear out the strings before I send it to him. But I can play this thing. You pick up guitars that you just want to play, and this was definitely one of them for me. But there's a lot of guitars in this house, guys, from doing reviews and constantly new guitars coming and going. So guitars need to leave so new guitars can come in, so the channel can grow and have new stuff to review. It's one that I didn't think I was going to sell because I do bond with the guitar. It's a playing instrument. If anyone doesn't know the story, this is the second one. I ordered one from Sweetwater, a bagel burst. And when it showed up, I just didn't bond with it. Linnell and I went to Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center, and they had this guitar. And as soon as I picked it up, I knew that this one was special. And don't sit there and say, well, there's no such thing. You can build 5 guitars, okay, right off the assembly line. Every one of them is going to be a little different. This one right here, there's just something about it. It just has that feeling. Maybe it was a Wednesday or a Tuesday. It definitely wasn't a Friday at quitting time when it was made. It's a nice instrument. It's a shame, but I have to let it go, and it's going to go to Devastators this week. We're going to get it in the mail Wednesday, Devastator. So for you, it's probably 3 days. So you might see it either Saturday or Monday, depending on how USPS does it. But we'll get it to USPS on Wednesday, and it's going in the big box back there because it also has a case. And if you own one of these and you bought it 2 or 3 years ago, they didn't offer a case for it. And with the reverse banana headstock and the Les Paul body, it makes the guitar a little longer, so it doesn't fit in a typical case. ESP had a case that fit it, and Sweetwater went through pretty much every case there trying to find something to fit it, and they found 2, and the ESP case, according to my salesman at the time, he's no longer a salesman there, he got a promotion, he went down and looked and he said, look, it fits better in the ESP case. And I'm like, okay. And about 6 months ago, Kramer released a case for the guitar. And I'm getting mixed reviews from what I've heard. Some people say the Kramer case doesn't even fit the guitar. And then other people say it's fine. So take that with a grain of salt. If you buy an Assault, I would just verify the Kramer case fits it, if that makes sense. I know that sounds weird, but if you look at how the guitar is, look at how far forward the bridge is on the body, okay? And the banana headstock is a little longer. So being that it's forward that makes the guitar longer and the butt sticks out more. You do that with the reverse banana headstock, which is already a little longer. That ends up making the guitar about 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer than a standard 25.5 scale length guitar. And you don't pick up on it until you go trying it in cases. If you try to put this in a Gibson Les Paul case, it's not even close to fitting. Don't even think about it. It's not going to fit. So I don't remember the model number of the case that ended up. It's downstairs because I literally just finished setting the guitar up for him, checking the intonation, checking the string height, making sure everything was spot on for him. So that's why you see the YouTube card. That's why I picked that one. At first I had the standard Saturday night tag, and I decided, well, being that it's a farewell night for the guitar, I'll change the tag and we'll do a Kramer. Like I said, I don't think the guitar... Ooh, Trucker Bob, thank you so much. I don't think the Kramer gets the love that it needs. It's a beautiful maple neck on it. They've bound the neck. Just everything about the guitar. It's just a well-made, well-finished guitar. Like I said, if you go into a store and you can see one, pick it up and play it. Even though you might not be a Les Paul guy, pick one up and play it. You might be really surprised at how the guitar plays and reacts. I have several guitars with JB and SH4s, but in this combination, whatever Kramer has done here with the glue joints, some people say all tone wood. I'm not getting into that argument. I do know that you can have the exact same pickups, put them in two different guitars, exact same pot, exact same cap. They're just not going to necessarily sound the same. And that can be pickup placement, how far away from the bridge, how close to the neck, how many frets. They just got it right on this one. Even though it's a 24 fret guitar and that pushes that neck pickup down a little bit, it still has that open single coil sound. If you go to the neck position and you split the coil, it has that Fenderish single coil smack. And you lose that a lot of times with a 24 fret guitar because it pushes that pickup more towards the bridge. This guitar still retains that quack. That's why I like the bridge humbucker with the single coil on the neck. And I roll the volume back just a little bit on that single coil. It gives a little quack, but you still got the bite. Everyone's different. That's what I liked about the guitar, if that makes sense. All right, well, let's get into what's been going on. What have I been missing, honey?
Not much. They're talking about how telling Devastator it's a nice guitar, and Devastator said it's got a big butt, so he's going to call it Barney.
Ha! Barney. That's pretty funny. I should have called it Barney. He's more creative than I am. That's a good name for it. It's purple.
Trucker Rob has to go. He's get back to driving. He's got 3 more hours to go on his trip to Kansas City.
Oh, okay. Hey, Trucker Bob, thank you so much for reaching out to Shenandoah Music. I went in last weekend. They said you did call. And just for your information, the next time you're up there, there is a gas station across the street that has a very large rear commercial section. You can pull in and you can either back the trailer in or you can go all the way around. There's enough room back there to where you can definitely get your semi around. No one's going to say anything to you. The gas station's directly across the street. Right next to the gas station, there's an alley that goes back to a warehouse. Tractor trailers go in and out of there all the time. So I'm sure if you pulled your tractor trailer back there with that warehouse and pulled it up forward, no one's going to say a thing to you. But they did mention that you called, so thank you so much for reaching out to them. That lets them know that me saying something on the guitar reviews, when they bring me a guitar, let me bring a guitar home, people are watching, and that makes a difference. They're good people in there. It's a single person that owns it. He bought it from his uncle. I mean, we have to support our local stores, especially those stores that go out of the way to order you stuff that they don't necessarily have, and they work for your business. That's what I expect. If I'm going in with my hard earned money, I need that place to work for my money. Show me that you care and show me that you're going to stand behind the product. And they have definitely done that.
He said awesome, and they have layaway. Now he's got to get rolling, but he's still watching.
Yes, they do have layaway, but you didn't hear it from me. Once they get to know you, you can go over that 3 month window. I've done it a couple times on some expensive guitars. And that's another good thing. You're a person and not a number there. Once they know you, that you're family. And that's what I like about that place. They're cool people. All right, everyone say goodbye to Trucker Bob, because without people like Trucker Bob putting stuff in their truck and getting it to us, we wouldn't have anything. Even if it comes in on a boat, it's got to go on a truck to get to us. So, again, thanks, Trucker Bob, for everything you do. Like I said, it's a hard life being out on the road, but I greatly appreciate everything you do. Truckers keep the United States running. So, everyone give him a thumbs up, because it is a hard life being on the road all the time. All right, I guess now we're up to open conversation. I do want to bring a couple things up, guys. I want to talk, the channels went through, budget guitars, medium price guitars. We do expensive guitars. And I hear the conversation a lot, especially now that we've been doing some $500, $600, $700 guitars, some $1,500 guitars. And I hear a lot of people say, well, why are you spending so much money on the guitar? I can get a $200 guitar, a $300 guitar, a $400 guitar, and it's just as good. I'm not going to really argue too much with the fact of it being good or better. That's all relative to you. What I will say is, when you spend $350 on a guitar, things that I've seen on reviewing guitars, the hardware usually, okay, is a little lesser quality. It's softer metal, okay? The screws aren't quite right, if that makes sense. That's why if you watch some of them, I always say, well, do you have a Japanese industry standard screwdriver? Because if it is a JSI and it's a poor quality JSI and you stick an American Phillips in it, odds are it's going to strip pretty easily. One, it's most likely soft metal, so pay attention to these things. I see that a lot in the $300 price range. It's the screws, little tiny things, the Allen heads in here, okay? Like this Kramer, you can crank down on it, okay? It's not going to strip this thing. This is a hardened steel bolt with an Allen head on it. You can crank on it. It's not going to strip. But if you do that on like a Firefly, where it's either going to strip here, okay, or it's going to strip down in the nut, because the nut is just softer metal. That's what it is. It's softer metal. How many people have a Floyd Rose Special and this back screw that goes into the locker, it strips in the saddle? You go to put, you're putting strings on, well, I don't want to over tighten it, I'm going to strip it. And then you're playing and the string pops out of the bridge. So the next time you put strings on it, what do? And it strips the cheap, soft pot saddle. It's a Floyd Rose Special. It's just like the new Floyd Rose with the screen printed logo on it that's cheaper than the Special. Do not lean on those screws. It will strip the saddle or bend the screw. Put your tool in this back screw and turn it. You'll see on the cheaper ones, you'll see it wave at you. It'll wobble. Okay? People go, well, what difference does it make? Well, if it wobbles down or if it's off to the side, this tensioner and this screw is riding on the top of that screw. So if that thing's bent, it's no longer hitting the tangent of the screw. So as you move it, that thing's going up and down and it affects the tune of the guitar.
Devastator said new person, they need to clap. It's a Fight for Truth C71.
Okay, Fight for Truth. If you're new here, you obviously know if you're not subscribed, you can talk and chat. That's the point in this channel. Come in, hang out, talk, chat. I did turn commercials off, so during the live, this is not monetized. I will switch it back on if you don't watch it on the live, but you guys shouldn't get any commercials this week. Okay?
Redskin Garage says, give us a little Clapton riff right quick.
Give me a little what? Clapton riff. Trying to think of a Clapton song. We didn't play that many. I know we played a couple Clapton songs. But YouTube is bad for that. If you guys watch, I'll play something down a key or two steps down or transpose it. So far I haven't been busted on the transposing thing, but I know YouTube has really gotten bad at giving you copyright strikes. But I did turn off commercials this time because the last stream someone said, oh, it's a live with a commercial. I've already, with the donation that we just got, who did the donation? Trucker Bob gave us $5. That's already 100 times more money than I would have got from the 30-cent running ads.
You can do Lay Down Sally.
Lay Down Sally. If I could even remember it. That's what's sad. Like when I played in a band professionally, we had about a 45 song set list. We had probably 4 sets.
You can do Crossroads Riff, Black Napkins.
Black Napkin.
Steve said don't play Metallica.
Don't play Metallica. Well, we had 40 songs, okay? I knew those 40 songs. I might have known 5 or 6 other songs. And you're like, well, what do you mean you had to have other set lists? As soon as that song went off the set list, if we didn't play it for 6 months, you can forget about it. I didn't remember that song. After 6 months, it was a past memory. That was one of the reasons why I feel that was my crutch. People that I played with that did go on to big things, they didn't have that issue. They learned a song and they retained it. It didn't matter if it was 3 years later. They might fumble on it the first, second time, but the third time, but it wouldn't be out of their mind like it is mine. Okay, if that makes sense. They could go, oh yeah, and someone they're right on it. That was the difference between me in my early 20s and people that just continued to move up the ladder. Everything they learned, they retained 90% of it. It's not just, and a lot of people, I knew a lot of guitar players that were good, they just didn't have the look. And believe it or not, back then the look had a lot to do with it. Okay? So it was your look, it was your attitude, it was what you were doing, how you responded and acted as a group on stage, how live, how interactive you were, and then you also had to be able to play the instrument. So if you didn't have everything, forget about it. And even when you had everything, it was 1 in 1,000 shot. It was like throwing a dart. Is the right person going to be there that night that's going to hear you, that's going to pick up the phone and call somebody?
Vox said just play Freebird. That covers the set, all of the set.
When we were out in bars, people used to do that all the time. And we did a medley of Freebird. What was that one song? Give Me 3 Steps. What was that? Give me 3 steps. Give me 3 steps of Mister. Yeah, we did that one. Stairway to Heaven and something else. And we just merged them all together and played like, I don't know, 6 or 7 bars of each and just floated all through the song. And at the end of the song, we were like, okay, we don't want to hear any more songs from the bar. We've already cleared out all the songs that you already yell at.
Penagore just did a super chat.
Ooh, Penagore with a super chat. So we deliberately did that just to get, Stairway to Heaven, all those songs. You go into a music store and you used to not be able to play Stairway to Heaven. I don't know if that's still the case anymore or not, but it was like the big no-no song. You don't play Stairway to Heaven. And there was just certain songs we just didn't have any interest in doing out live. I remember we went, it was called Payne's Biker Bar. It was in Leesburg. And the only reason we went to Payne's Biker Bar and played, the same owner owned the Silver Dollar, which was a dive in Winchester. And they said, well, you guys do really good. Why don't you play our other bar in Leesburg? And we're like, okay. So we get there, and this place was hard. When I say hard, we played hair music. And thank the Lord, the other guitar player knew a lot of Southern rock, because I didn't know that much Southern rock. We winged it through the whole night. It's amazing we walked out of that place alive, because as soon as we started playing glam rock, oh my gosh, I thought the tables were going to fly across the bar. We ended up playing Leonard Skinner and stuff like that all night. I knew none of these songs. I'm just playing follow along on the lead guitar player. And everybody else was following. The singer was also the bass player. So everybody's watching the lead guitar player. Where's the change? I mean, you know the songs, but you don't know the songs. We scraped through that night, and at the end of the night, everyone, the league, that was a pretty fun night. I'm like, dude, we're never playing that place again. And here comes the bar manager. Oh man, you guys were awesome. And I'm like, no, we're not playing here ever again. And it wasn't the fact that I disliked the music. It was the fact that that place was, man, if you didn't play what they wanted to hear, I swear I thought they were going to come up there and beat you up with your own instrument. I got done with that night. I said, guys, we're never coming back here. I can't defend myself well. These were some big guys in there. And boy, when they got pissed when we started playing that 80s glam rock, it did not, like I said, by the end of the night, everyone was happy. But we pulled songs out of our rear end that, I had never played before. And you can do that when you play with guys long enough. You can follow and you can just get through it. That's why I say a lot of times when you go out and play, sometimes it's not about, ooh, what's my tube amp sound like? It's just working together and paying attention to what they want to hear in the bar. And you got to have a lot of songs and you got to be able to retain them. That was my problem. I couldn't retain. If someone that used to play with me ever ends up in the chat, that's the first thing they're going to say. Avery's retention on the set list just wasn't up to snuff. Everyone has something. That was mine. If we didn't play a song for a while, odds are I was going to screw it up. I had to keep those songs in memory, and I forgot things quickly. You can't do that as a professional musician. You have to be able to get it done. And I still think to this day that was one of the reasons why the doors just didn't flow right for me, if that made sense. I had to make a decision. I was doing fine in a local professional, within 100 mile, 200 mile from where I live, but that doesn't get it done. I saw people moving forward. And I wasn't. As that person moved forward, I'd fill their position. Okay? And then someone else would move forward. And, that I was always second rate, if that makes sense. Maybe that was the reason. I still feel that was the reason, just retention. So, everyone has their shortcoming. So I don't know if you all want to type in. I know a lot of people on the right-hand side played professionally or still play professionally. So maybe you guys can type in, what do you feel was your shortcoming? Even if you're not playing now, looking back on it, what was your shortcoming? Was it retention, remembering the songs? Or was it you were just sloppy and you didn't pay, you're like, I know the song well enough. I don't need to practice. I know it well enough. I played with some people like that. I don't need to practice. I'm awesome. Yeah, they were. They were awesome lead players. But you still need to practice as a group. Because of just what I said, playing Payne's Biker Bar. If the lead guitar player would just show up and play lead that night, we wouldn't have bonded. We wouldn't have been able to follow that man and get through the night.
Johnny B,
Oh, hey, Johnny Bean, what's up, man? So, without that strong lead player that was there that night, we would not have made it. He bailed the whole band out, if that makes sense. And those were the musicians that went forward with it. Could I have done it? No. That was past my retention. Had I played some of those songs before? Sure. I just didn't remember them. Wherein he was like, yeah, my last band, we played these songs. I know them. Follow me. It's in this key. It's so many bars. There's a switch. You know the song. Keep it simple. You know, what's the old saying? Keep it simple, stupid. And that's what he did. He kept it simple, stupid. Even though there was changes there, he knew we didn't know it. But he played it to where the band could follow him and the people in the bar were still happy. That, in my opinion, is what makes a professional artist versus what I was at the time, if that makes sense. Because without that person there, I would have failed. So, have I gotten better? Yeah, I've gotten better. But I still don't do it as a living anymore. There's tremendous talent out there. There really is. Tremendously talented people. So I try to learn as much as I can. When I go to the music store, I'll listen to people. I'll listen to their opinions on why they think this or that. That's why I like this group. Because you don't have to agree with me. That's what the chat's about. Tell me what works for you. You know, what did you find that got you out of that rut when you were playing or playing now? That's the big thing. I'm trying to catch up. Linnell's not hollering into me, so I must not be missing too much.
People saying hi and stuff.
I'm trying to see. Wrote down the songs I know on a list. Yeah, we had a set list, and I kept it. I taped it on front of my monitor that was in front of me. But even at that rate, I can't. You're gonna laugh at this. I mean, let's say we played. Well, we did. We played every weekend, but we didn't rotate last week's set. We'd always have 4 sets, okay? And we knew a couple stray songs here and there. We would change it up, mix it around. If we rewrote a set list and they taped it on there, odds are, not maybe the first set, maybe not even the second. It could have been the first set. I'd look down and go, yeah, I know that song. How's that go? And I would just complete blank. I could not tell you the first note, couldn't tell you the beat per minute, couldn't tell you the lyrics. And when I got like that, I would look over the lead player and I go, and he would just go like this, and he would kick off the song. That's a lead person. So as soon as I heard the first note, my little squirrel brain would go, hey, why didn't I freaking remember that song? And I would play it fine. But just looking down at the set list going, oh, it's a Silverchair song. How's that song go? You know, so I've played it a million times. How's that freaking song go? And then, bam, first, second note, got it. I come right in, okay? And I would do it smartly. Okay, he would know, okay, he's having a problem. So he'd look over the drum and he'd go, make a sign, say, I'm going to play an extra bar, and then come into it. So it worked. But we got like that over time. It didn't happen overnight. But that was my problem, and I still have that problem to this day. Learning something and retaining it. And guitar it's something if you don't play and don't do every day, you lose. If you don't pick up this instrument and play it, and play it, and play it, you will lose that talent. It's a perishable skill. That's what it is. I sat the guitar down for a long time, and I am just now really getting to the point where I think I'm not near as good as I once was, but I'm getting there. Because I lost all that hand-eye coordination. I lost the muscle memory. I lost just the general cadence of being able to play. When I say cadence, just that cadence that you get in the song. Okay? And a lot of music is that cadence. You either play like a robot, and you can hear people that are very robotic, okay? I try not to play that way. I try to keep a cadence that's more feel based, okay? I find that feel based, okay, cadence just does something for me. And that doesn't mean shredding is robotic. Yngwie Malmsteen is not robotic, in my opinion. He has a cadence and a smoothness and a technique that makes it interesting. It's not, he's not hitting dead on every note. Okay, there's a sequence and a slowness to his strike when he speeds up and slows down his melodic runs. That gives it a feel. Where I've see guys on YouTube, they're monster guitar players, but they just sound like robots. The notes are so spot on that there's no feel, there's no gravitation to it. I can't even explain it. If you guys understand what I mean, there's just something about how you flow into a lead and come out of a lead. Some people, and I watch them on YouTube, some of these guys, they've just got a talent on sweeping into something, going to something really fast and then coming out of it to a real nice melodic slow. And it's like, wow, that transition was just freaking awesome. That is what I kind of go to. I look for musicians that do that. And I know other people, they like that bam, 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 dead on every note, robotic sound. For me, it's not for me.
Said, how long was your dry period?
How long was my dry period? I'm gonna say 15 years. And in that 15 years, I would probably pick up my guitar twice a year. And that would just be because my rack amplifier would be sitting in the corner, and I'd be like, wow, I really need to play that. And I'd strap on my PV Nitro and I'd turn it up and I'd play for 10 or 15 minutes and go, okay. And I'd just set it back down. It might sit there again for 6 or 7 months. And it's not that even really, I would just go, yeah, man. And I would remember what I used to do, going in bars, talking to friends, just the camaraderie of it. And that's why I never sold it. It wasn't that I didn't think about it. I thought about it because I didn't play. But I'd look at the amp and it held so many memories. I had my amp and two guitar hangers on each side of it, my PV Nitro and my PV Vandenberg. And I just couldn't. And thank the Lord I didn't sell them. Because music is in me. Okay? It's part of me. It's what makes me tick. And you can talk to people that knew me then. I changed. I was moody, kind of edgy. And a lot of it was, I was like a robot at work. I got to do X, I got to do S, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I didn't have any outlet. And music is that outlet. If you're a musician, you know what I mean. If you feel sad, you pick it up and you play sad. If you're all happy, you play happy. If you got that aggression, then you put the aggression in the instrument. It's a great outlet for that.
Redskin Garage says, I just got back into it here after 7 years. I'm learning a lot now.
Redskin Garage, you'll find, like when I first got out, I was in a rut. Okay, it was like I was playing, but I wasn't really gaining, if that makes sense. I'm sure I was getting better, but I didn't have these big jumps. Okay, now I find myself, I don't know if it's because I look back on it and I'm a little bit more mature, but at the same time I'm older, so my hands and fingers don't work the way they once did.
Redskin says that my fingers hurt.
Yeah, my hands hurt sometimes too. But now I find myself, I'll do jumps. Every couple months I'll be playing and just something will click. And I'm like, oh, that's how that's done. Or now I'm able to do this. Or now, the past 3 years, I really haven't hit a rut. So I'm due for a nice rut where I just hit the wall and you just kind of feel like you're climbing up the wall, but you're not making any progress. I know it's coming for me because I have never went 3 years and not just got to that point. It's like, I'm not getting any better. I'm not doing this. And I think I've said it before. I contribute some of it to YouTube. Because even though we don't think we're getting better, record yourself. Record yourself tonight playing something. Come back to it 6 months later and listen to it and record yourself then. 6 months later, and you will see a progressional difference in your playing. You don't pick up on it because it's you. If I go back 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, my first YouTube video, I had just really started playing again about a year before that. And I was really rusty. And you can hear it in the cadence of my strumming. You can hear it in my pick attack. You can hear it all across the boards. You can hear it. So I have YouTube. I can go back and I'm like, oh my gosh, listen to what I did there. You know, and that's fine. I don't take any of those down. I hope people go back and, wow, he's gotten better at this, this, and this, and this. And a lot of it is now I'm forced. Okay, now you can ask Linnell. I still come home and play. Okay, I do practice. But I didn't do that 3 years ago. Yeah, I played, but I didn't go, okay, I should really practice because now I have people watching. So I should try to clean up my act, clean up my sound to make it sound better. I've made adjustments. I was adjusting my rack tube amp for a long time. I made the change. I'm a tube guy, but I'm not playing tubes now. Why? I'm playing a modeler. The modeler just works better doing streams. There's no open mic in the room. 4 years ago, if you would have asked me that, I'm like, there's no way. Nothing will replace a tube. And I still believe that. Nothing replaces a tube. It just has a sound. It has a warmth and something that you can call it psychological, call it whatever you want to call it. But in my feel, I feel there's a difference, okay, in how it reacts. Now, this little Yamaha $320 amp, I'll change my camera angle here. This little cheap amp, okay, that's a $329 amplifier. It feels a lot like my tube amp. Does it sound like it? It's close. But it reacts and I feel the amp. Okay? So I can work with this amp. Some of the other modelers I had, there was a disconnect. I'm not going to say it was a time, it just didn't feel right. This little Yamaha has a good feel to it. I don't have an issue playing with it, and it works good because I don't have any sound in the room. The only way I hear the guitar is through my headphones. So I can put these on, hear the guitar in my headphones, and still talk into this microphone right here, and the microphone doesn't pick up the guitar in the room. I can control the gate and everything on the mic and the volume on that. And for you guys, it sounds 90% there.
Johnny Bean says I accepted modeling amps 20 years ago.
Yeah, I accept them now. I really do. I think there's a definite place for them. And I've said this too. I love my tube amp. Nothing will ever replace my old tube amp. But when I go out and play, I'm going to take this little Yamaha or my Line 6 Stomp. That's what I'm going to take. Because I can come out of my Line 6 in this to a little monitor just to hear myself and then go straight to front of house. And if they don't have front of house and someone's doing karaoke or open mic, they're going to have a PA system set up there where I can go right to their board. And I don't have to lug. I used to carry my rack mount amp and my 4-speaker enclosure to open mics. And I remember showing up and people like, what the world are you going to do with that? I'm like, it has a volume control. You roll in with that and they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to blow the doors out of the place. But that's what I used to carry around. And it was heavy. And it was a nightmare. I didn't have a small combo amp. But even with my Egnator, let me switch cameras again, see if we can see it. My little Egnator there, it's still a heavy amplifier. So if I'm going to take the Egnator, okay, I'm going to take the Egnator, and all it has is built-in reverb. So I'm going to need probably a tuner and a delay and a boost pedal and my guitar. And I'm still going to have to mic it because you're going to need a mic in front of it because it's just going to be stage volume. If I take my rack mount, which is over there, you can see it's on. I was playing it before the stream. That's my rack amp. Okay. So if I take that, I still got to mic it. I don't have an attenuator or anything for the mic to go front of house. So it's just not, for me, it's not worth it. I'm not a famous person. I don't have roadies that's going to carry that stuff in and set it up for me. So I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to take my guitar, put my little Line 6 in the box, put my strap, show up, have fun, and leave.
Redskin Garage says, what's the difference mechanically? I keep hearing about them tubes. Is it like a tube TV?
Tubes just have a warmer sound. Digital has come a long way. If you look at my rack amp here, let me switch back over to the rack amp. Right in the center, you're going to see a silver stripe right in the center of that rack amp. Okay, that silver piece is a inline tube preamp. It was not designed for guitar. What it was designed to do was to come out of ADAT units because digital had such a harsh artificial sound. They wanted to warm it up. So if you had an 8-track ADAT, basically recorded on beta or VHS, you would have 8 tracks coming out. You would get 4 of these. And each track would go through it and you could warm up that signal before it went to your true two-track master. Okay? That's what they were intended to do. People put them on the back side of their AD converters, just warm up the signal path. I have found on an effects loop, that unit with a BBE sonic maximizer, you can add a little oomph to your signal. Okay, the sonic maximizer will push certain frequencies, like make it a little more harmonic, and you're going to add some warmth and just a little bit of gain in that line tube amp. Okay, and then come back into the effects loop, back into the unit, and you can do pre-post. You can put it anywhere you want. Mine's post, along with the sonic maximizer. It's something that I've just learned over the years. So I go into my Synergy SYN2. Okay, but it's going through the mono effects loop of the ART SGX 1000. So it comes in on the center of the gain stage of the tube preamp of the SGX. So I have that tube preamp, the tube preamp either in the Sedano or the Friedman. Then it's going to go into the effects part. Now I can either do pre or post. Okay. On mine, I'm doing post. I go through the effects channels of the SGX 2000. Once it goes through there, it comes out of the second effects loop to my inline tube amp and then my BBE back to the unit. Then it goes back out to my Pro Valve power amp to my 4-speaker enclosure. So a lot of people are saying, well, your signal path is just like you're in the studio. You're doing post-processing. Well, of course I am. But that's not post-processing like you hear people, oh, he cheated, he's post-processed. It's post-processed on the output stage of the preamplifier and digital signal processor before it gets amplified and goes to my cabinet. Post-processing should be after the microphone on stage and the front of house guy tries to make your sound blend in with the bass player. That's why if you're in a band, a lot of bands will go, hey, can you cut down these effects? Okay? Because the sound guy's got to get your guitar rig to sound like it's in the same room as the bass player. So if you're running, 200 milliseconds on your delay and the bass player's at 300, it's going to sound awful because your delays are all over the place and it starts bouncing and causing weird effects. Back in the day, we always turned most of that off, especially if we were miking the instruments. And the sound man would apply, the delays. That way everything sounded like it was in the same room. That way the guitar player didn't sound like he was playing down in a hole and the bass player was all front of house. Why does he feel like he's front of the house? because he doesn't have the effects. He's more forward imaging, and the other guitar player's got all this reverb, and he just sounds like he's down in a cave. So that doesn't work. So doing a system the way I've done it works fine when it's just me here. But if I get with another guitar player that has a high-tech rig like mine, you're going to have to tweak your settings. You're going to have to. The effects that you're running and the effects that he's running need to correlate. Exact same thing with vocals. You need to put a layer over top of all that to get this to sound like it's in the same setting, if that makes sense. So if your rig sounds good now and you have all the delay, that's not giving too much leeway or freedom to the sound guy to get the vocals, the keys, the drums, everything balanced out and working together as a whole. That's why, you do these frequency cuts. People go, oh, there's no low end on this guitar, and they start kicking up the low. Well, now you're taking up the bass player's room. And so the first thing the sound guy goes, he's going to hit that sweep, and he's going to sweep your low. A good board will have a mid sweep and a low sweep. He's going to find where that bass player is. He's going to set that sweep, and then he's going to cut you 8-10 decibels on whatever that frequency is that works with the bass player. He's just going to chop it, whether it's 600 hertz, whatever it is. It's going to go. Boom. I hate to say it. If you've got keys, it's even worse, because there's a guitar section that also in the key section, and they've got to have their own space. Everything has to have its own space. Vocals have to have their own space. The more stuff you have, the less bandwidth you have or frequency to really make your instrument shine. So I don't even know why we started down this rant.
Mechanical difference between tube and
Yeah, tubes just sound warmer. But the digital stuff, man, is getting there. I want a Axe effect so bad. I want a rack mount FM3, or is that FX3? I want it. For me, it would be perfect. I hear them. I know they sound good. It would be something I could go right into my interface to you guys. I could push a button on the floor, change the output, and go right to my tube power amp to my 4-speaker enclosure. And if it sounds a little harsh, the rack mount unit has an effects loop, okay, because it's digital distortion. It's a modeled distortion. So I'm sure in that unit, as powerful it is, I can tell it where I want to put the effects send and return in the signal path. So I could come right out of the fake preamp, whether I'm modeling a Vox or a Sedano or a Friedman, come right out of that, tell the Fractal Audio I want to come right off of that to my effects, send, into my line tube amp, back into the unit, just to warm up the model. You may not have to. I haven't played with one directly to know, but if it has that not quite there sound, you could add something like that to sweeten up the signal before it goes into your processing. And I would still do the post like I'm doing now. But on that, it's not like my SGX 2000. That thing has so much power, you could go at the end of the signal path and in post process and like a fake, like split your signal chain and bring it back in. You're not really doing effect send. Everything's internal. I'm pretty sure that thing's powerful enough at the end of my effects chain I could branch off and come back in with a sonic maximizer and do the exact same thing I'm doing with my rig, all contained in a simple box. But you're looking at $4,000. By the time you buy your foot controller in the unit, it's $4,000. That's why I'm using this little Yamaha. It's $329. What's the old saying? It's good enough. I mean, this is a $329 amplifier, guys. Listen to this thing. It's crazy. And I'm not saying that it's the bee's knees on sound. It's a $329 amp. It's good enough. Does my real tube have more in your face warmness? Yeah. Okay, YouTube's going to compress this signal and then it's going to compress it more, and then someone's watching it on their laptop. How much difference are you really going to hear between my $329 little Yamaha and my $8,000 rack mount tube unit after it's all compressed? I'm sure there's a difference. The other night I was having problems with the Mackie and someone goes, "Oh, I just lost a channel." Well, I know that person's watching on a nice TV or a nice computer. But someone that was watching on a laptop with little tiny speakers, they were probably like, something changed. But they probably didn't pick up the whole left channel just died, if that makes sense. So YouTube, you can only do so much. For doing what I'm doing here, I think this is, when Linnell looked at this little amp, I was like, come on. But after playing it, I think this is the best little amp you can buy for $330. I would take this thing out live, come right out of the headphone jack, and go front of house with it. No problem whatsoever. I mean, that's mean sounding. And as I play, I can talk. Now, if that amplifier was on over there, I couldn't do that, because this thing would be picking up. I'm so far. I can't even touch the microphone.
Which model is the amp?
I can't touch the microphone. So if I was running my tube amp right now, it would just be washing me out as I talk. Which model is the amplifier? Hold on for a second, guys. I'll let you know. It's a little tiny guy right here. So let's switch. This is, I got to move my stream deck. This is a THR-10 2. THR-10 2. So evidently it's a Mach 2. So it looks like 1011. So it's not a, it's not 1011. It's a THR-10 2. It's a great. Now they have a more expensive one that has a battery in it. I don't need the battery. Then they have one even over that has a little bit bigger speaker in it. All I know is I think the amp sounds better unplugged against the wall, because there's a great stereo imaging that comes out of the amp. But just going straight to the interface, it's a great sounding little amplifier.
It's almost 9:30.
Oh! Guess what time it is, guys? If you're not familiar with this channel, we usually do 3-hour streams. And I not require you guys to subscribe to post. We're all here chatting and having fun. But we always take a break, and that allows people to go get some munchies. If you're from Australia, you can get a Vegemite sandwich. Just saying. Or you can get a Foster's, Australian for beer. I'm not much on Foster's, but it's a 5 minute break. It allows people to hit the restroom, go get something to eat, uh, even come back, think about, the next topic and conversation. And when we come back, we'll talk more guitars and stuff. And we usually do about an hour and a half on each section. I think I'm the only show that really does that. And it not helps me, but it helps everyone else. It's usually a scheduled break. We try to do it in an hour and a half to an hour, something in that ballpark. So I'm sure some people will leave, and that's fine. But if you're here now, I want to ask for your, to subscribe. We work hard here. We try to do good content, and everyone that you see on the right of your screen, they're good people. They're musicians just like all of us, me, you. We all have opinions, and that's what it's about. We want those opinions because if someone says something, there's a reason for it. And that's the topic and conversation that needs to be talked about. Why do you feel that way? It'll help other people. It will. If you've got a product and you've had problems with it or you think it's great, that's going to help other people. If that product comes up in the conversation over there and someone's thinking about buying it and you've had it and it was awful in your opinion, hey, say something. Hey, I had these issues with it. Or, dude, just buy it, don't think twice. That's what the people need. I know I depend on people in the chat when I make a decision, when I buy something. Hey, did you guys have an issue with it? Did you not have an issue with it? That's what it's about. That's why I don't require you to subscribe. Some people just come in. Maybe it's not their cup of tea. That's fine. But you can still participate and have fun with the great people that's to your right. Anyway, we're going to take our 5 minute break, and I always hit the wrong button. So I'm going to say, I'm not too sure which one it is. I'm going to think it's not, can't be that one. That one says Thursday night. Starting soon, intermission, break scene. I think it's this one. Alright, that was a short break. And as usual, we lose people during the break. That's fine. I think we were up to 32 and 22 now. Um, if I don't take that break, my voice, I literally drink a lot when I walk out. I didn't hit the restroom though. So probably now I'm going to screw myself here in about 45 minutes from drinking all that before and then coming right back in. Talking Wang amps. It also gives me a little bit of time, guys, to go back and look at the chat. I got a squirrel brain, so it's hard for me to talk, keep the channel, the conversation going, and then go back and also read the chat. Wang amps, I've heard nothing but good things about them. I've never played through one. So if anyone has one that comes in, make a comment about it. I've only seen a few videos on Wang amps. I don't know too much about them. I've heard what I have heard's been good. Yeah, if that makes sense. I don't even know if that's considered a budget amp. I didn't think it was considered a budget amp. I think that's a higher priced amplifier if I'm thinking of the right company. I'm trying to read, is the IYV Silvertone. Oh, so you guys have moved on. I was reading back at the Wang stuff. But I do, when we first come out, I know you guys can't see it, but our chat rate was at 8, okay, and it has dropped down to 2. So YouTube is hungry for whatever. So if everyone can just post a quick comment real quick, that gets the chat rate up. And if the chat rate goes up when people log into YouTube, it'll push this live stream on their feed for recommended videos. So the chat rate goes up. YouTube sees that. It thinks something's interesting going on. So then it pushes the content out for them. And there was a lot of chat going on when we were talking about amps and how they sound, and we were talking about the rack mount units. I'm still a rack guy. I like my rack stuff. And will rack equipment ever come back? I don't know. I think in the studio it never really disappeared. It's had a little bit of a resurgence, and that's simply because Synergy offers rack mount stuff. That's why I went with the Synergy rack preamp. I can do a Synergy rack preamp, and I can just change modules. If I want a Friedman, turn on the Friedman. If I want the Sedano, I can turn on the Sedano. If I want a Fender Bassman, I put the B-Man module in, which I don't have yet, but I plan on getting a B-Man module. I love the sound of a Bassman. I think I put that on one side and keep my Friedman on the other side. That's going to give me the best of both worlds in a 1U configuration. I like it. Probably still do the exact same thing, even if I get an Axe Effects. I know the SYN2 dual port module works the way I have it wired in my SGX. So I would plug my guitar into the SYN2, and then it used the effects loop in the Axe Effects one, and it comes in mid-stage of the preamp section, the fake preamp section of the Axe Effects. So it is listed as one of the units that will accept the 3-wire method. Which that's important to me because I actually like that preamplifier. So I could still retain my tube preamp, okay, and have all the wonderful effects of the fractal controlled by the FC12 because the SYN2 is MIDI capable as well. So I have 4 channels that I can switch back and forth on. That's all I need. Heavy dirt, medium dirt, and 2 different cleans. One of the cleans I could add a drive channel in the fractal to do something there too. So I could have 4 completely different signal paths with different gain stages, all controlled off one foot controller. So that will be the future for me. Even though I'm doing this stream, I can come out direct interface from the fractal to my interface here and still be using my Sedano rack mount tube preamp. So it would be the best of both worlds. I could just push a button on the floor and I go to my 4-speaker cabinet through my Pro Valve, where I drop my IR cab emulation and my power amp emulation and go directly to my power amp to my 4-speaker. Hit another button, turn my IR on, my fake power amp, and go directly to the interface. So I do know that's the future of the channel. That's what I want to do. The other future part of the channel is I want to get away from the VLZ 16 Pro Mackie board that I have. It's very dated and it does not have an interface in it. Here's the cup my honey got me. That's when you know you got a woman that loves you. See that? Plus she made me hot cocoa. So it would the Mackie's got to go. It hasn't done it tonight. It hasn't lost a channel. But usually when equipment starts to do that, it doesn't get better. It'll progressively get worse. So I've been looking at two solutions. I've been looking at an X32 Behringer rack mount mixer, and I've also been looking at the wing rack, both of which I would never really ever have growing pains with. I just think if I do an X32, it's already an older platform. Okay, they still make it, they still support it, all that. Are they going to do it 10 more years? I don't know. If I hop on the wing rack bandwagon, that's a new platform for them. The X32 has been out for over 10 years, and all they've done is basically firmware updates. Okay, the wing rack is set up that way too. There's so many things that you can do in that. We can just get into updates and the power that the unit has. I think it's 16 channel input on the back, and you can add a rack mount unit that'll add another 16 inputs. Actually, you could do a lot more than that if you get the 2U unit, but I don't need that here. 16 inputs for everything that I have, I can make work. And if I can't, I can build on the unit. It's 48 channel. It's got a ridiculous amount of subgroups. Right now I only have 4 subgroups, but having the ability to have 24 subgroups, I can subgroup all my guitar signals. So let's say I want to keep the Yamaha plugged in, I want to keep my line 6 plugged in, and I want to have my rack mount unit plugged in. I can have all those signals individually controlled on channels. Let's say I'm taking up 8 channels. That's all guitar. Okay? 8 stereo channels be 4 different amplifiers. I can put those in a subgroup and control the overall volume in the general mix, and then actually have controls in the channel section of individual volume between each amplifier. Great. Great, 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 great. So the keyboard can come in, I can be on a subgroup, I could have multiple microphones with different levels in a subgroup. So if you have guests and stuff, it is the next step for the channel. But right now, I'm thinking about getting another SA microphone. I love this microphone. I don't know if you guys have seen this microphone. I'm gonna push it down. Okay. And I'm going to take it out of its little clip here. Whoop. Try not to drop it. This is the SA X1A. I can't tell you guys enough how great that little microphone is. For $100, this is it's a great little microphone, and it works well. It has a dB cut in it, so if you want to do line path or non-line path, it's there. So I definitely want to get one of these. And SA also makes a stereo pair. They make two different versions. I'm going to get the budget version. I think it's like $240. They make another set that has a little bit better quality diaphragms and stuff in them. That one's about 580, but I'm going to get the one that's like 250. And I'm going to use that for my actual amplifiers, if that makes sense. I do have two Shure SM57s. So what I would like to do is have an SM57 and an SA on each individual driver, because I run two greenbacks on the left, two greenbacks on the right. So I could have each speaker on the left mic with two different microphones, an SM57 and the SA, and I could blend to liking. Every mic sounds different. So you're going to have two different sounds, even though it's the same amp, same drivers. The microphones pick them up differently. So by putting multiple microphones on the left side, I can use the mixing board and I can blend to taste, if that makes sense. That just, all these little things are tricks, guys. It's not like you all are listening to this Yamaha, okay? I can tell you in the room it sounds better than what I hear with my headphones on. But it does change the sound of the unit just a little bit, coming out of the headphone jack, going to the interface. There's a change there. The interface is gonna, don't let anybody, everything colors everything. There is no such thing as 100% transparent. An amplifier is going to do a little something to the signal. It's not 100% transparent. Sometimes, a colorful amp can make your sound. And some people are like, well, I don't want any color from my amp. I want it all in my preamp. I'm letting you know, going through an interface, I'm using the Yamaha AG08. It adds a little color. Okay, that's what it's going to do. So this Yamaha little modeling amp is getting a little color from the AG08. It's just the nature of the beast and a mixing board. That's why the VLZ Mackie that I have was so popular. They were very transparent mic gains, and it was a very low noise floor. So TV stations loved using this particular board in their vans because it was so transparent. That doesn't mean that it is transparent. It just means it was less colorful than what was on the market at the time. So that's the reason I bought it. Linnell's in there laughing, so I don't know what you guys are talking about it.
They brought up the movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Devastator said you should sing Man of Constant Sorrow for him.
Oh my gosh.
Penagore said I should play it.
Well, if I'm going to do that, guys, anything that'll help the squirrel voice would help the squirrel voice. And I don't know which button I hit over here. I think it's this one. Check. Yeah, there we go. Put a little effects. I'm the man of constant sorrow. I got a 80s voice. I don't think I could pull that off. Check. Check. There we go. I got too much. Check. Check. So the reason the AG08 is so nice, I don't have enough talent to play, sing, and do all that. Well, I do it, but I'm not going to do it here. I don't practice enough. But if you're live streaming, the reason I picked this thing up is I can add effects just to this channel. I can add compression, delay, reverb. So this one right here is pretty basic. Check. That's a different one. Check. Check. So that's some kind of delay.
Check. Oh, that's a pitch transformer, so you could sound like Baby Trump. And this one's a pitch transformer with delay.
So in reality, I can just push a button and make changes.
Birdman said no.
Check.
No offense, you sound like Steve Perry.
I have no Steve Perry. Who did Steve Perry? Steve Perry. Why does that sound so familiar? Wasn't that the guy from Journey? Now I'm going to show, if I'm wrong, I'm going to look like a complete idiot. Check. I don't know why I lost the signal on that. Check. There it is. So you can go in, if I don't have, I'm already having problems with USB connections. So if I tie the AG08 into the computer, I can on the fly make adjustments to the compression reverb. But I'm already having issues with too many USBs plugged into my computer and things drop. So I lose that aspect of it. But I do have it set up to where if I want to add a little effect, I can. And that effect will not affect the input of the signal of the guitar coming in. So, oh, did I unplug?
Steve says I still say Linnell needs a mic.
For whatever reason, I lost my, oh, there it is. It helps turn the volume up. So, you can hear that delay is not coming into the guitar. That's another reason why I wanted that particular one, because I can offset the mic here without affecting the other channels of the input of the interface. This guitar is just mean. I shouldn't have sold it. How can you not like that? I mean, that's a kick butt sound for a $325 amp. It's got a good sound, guys. I'm a fan of this pickup configuration. I say it all the time. kick butt guitar. I could play all night, but I don't want to bore you guys.
Is that a JB Bridge 59 neck?
It's a JB in the bridge and an SH4 in the neck. Great pickup combination. Great pickup combination. So many great songs have been played on a JB. So many great songs played on an SH4. I mean, you can't say that you can't say that they're not great pickups. It has that breakup. There are hotter pickups out there, guys, but the JB is just, there's a reason why they've been making it for 30 some straight years. It's just a solid sounding pickup. And having a guitar that the bridge is that stable really helps. You can get stupid with it. Good sounding pickup set. I don't care what you put them in. Odds are a JB is going to get you there. Whether you're playing, classic rock, hair rock, you can twist it. If I really took the mid out, we could get that new grunge sound out of a JB. It's not going to have the flop that some of the new ones have, but you can get that high gain. Let's say you take a JB and plug it into a dual rectifier and just cut the you-know-what out of the mid. A JB will get you there. It will. It's a good utilitarian, awesome pickup.
Birdman says you should get a Reaper that Scar sells and review it.
Well,
He said go over it with a microscope too.
I've seen a couple of his products, and I've made comment to other people that build like I do. I don't know. I don't know if he's making his own stuff or if he's farming it out. I know the one that I saw on Amazon was farmed out, and they were slapping his name on it. So I don't know. If he wants to send me something, we'll do it. But I don't think I'm gonna devote resources from the channel to do it, if that makes sense. And that's nothing against them over there. It's just that there's too many other things on the market that I feel people would be more interested in than a product by Scar, if that makes sense. Yeah, I've said it a million times, and that brings me back to the conversation we were having earlier. I wanted to talk about was the relationship between these inexpensive guitars, mid-price guitars, and higher price guitars. We've covered everything here. When you get down to a low price point, they got to cut corners somewhere. Everyone is in business to make money. They have to make money. And when a company gets to the point where they have shareholders, the shareholders want to make money. That's the point in being in business. I can't think of anyone that's in business to lose money or to break even.
He said he thinks they're 800 and he thinks they're built in Vietnam, same factory as IYV.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Most people are already gonna say that it's not worth 800, but I understand that he has to source the product. They got to build it. He's got to bring it over here, resell it. He's got to make money. I think at $800, you can add $100 and buy this. Okay. Can I build this guitar for $900? Absolutely not. I can't. I can't build this guitar for $900. But before I bought a Scar, I would add 100 and buy this and have 500% better guitar. Before I bought a Scar, I would buy this. Great guitar, $450. Can I build this guitar for $450? Absolutely not. I can't. Can't do it. We had a topic on Discord about me maybe making one or two custom instruments. And I did low price points. And the couple votes that I did get, they were all at $600. I can't buy the parts for $600. That's the issue, guys. This channel's about honesty. I would love to build custom instruments, but there's no way I can do it and be at $600, $700, $800, $900. I can't do it. I can't. I just, it's impossible.
Jupe said, play Man of Constant Sorrow.
I don't even think I ever learned that song. I remember when my son was little, he loved that. We had the CD, the elk from the movie, and he loved the whole CD. I remember putting him in the car seat, and he would sit back there and he hated to ride in the car. We put that CD player in the CD player, and within 5 minutes, he was out like a light in the back seat. He loved any song on that whole album. So I guess he's 26 now, almost 25, 26. Yeah, it'll be 26 this coming January. So that was a long time ago that movie come out. But he loved that CD. Yeah, he was probably 1 then in the car seat. He loved that. He loved that. But back to what I was saying is, you can't do it. Okay? So if he's offering that guitar for that, why would you go through them? If IYV is doing it, here's a concept. Okay? If IYV is building that guitar, he can say that IYV is spending X amount of time to produce X. Okay? I want you to think about it this way. Okay. That company's quality control does X. They build X. They're set up to build X. To ask them to all of a sudden build a better instrument than they build normally is, I'm sorry, doesn't work that way. That's not how manufacturing works.
As Steve said, it's hard doing inexpensive, low cost without scaling way up.
Yeah. It's not how manufacturing works. You can't have a production line that does X, whether it's medium quality, high quality, or low quality. On that production line, that person is working at a certain speed, he's used to doing it a certain way. You can't turn around on the next 50 guitars go, okay, now they got to be perfect. That's not how production works. We're not talking about luthiers, Okay, we're talking about production line workers. Someone, all they do is run the CNC. All they do is sand the top. All they do is, dial in the side of the fret or press the frets. That's all their job is. Press, press, press frets, press frets, press frets. That's their job. So to sit there and say, hey, we just got an order for 50 guitars from Scar. These have to be to this level. It doesn't work that way. That plant builds X to this level and they check X when it's done. That's what they build. Can they build one or two that are a little better than the others? Sure. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the tooling is set up, the CNC programming is set up. They're used to performing and doing to a certain standard. To sit there and say, I want this guitar built twice as good, that means they're rewriting programs. How good is the CNC? How much backlash? How much slop? The CNC's, it's all in the programming, okay? Then you got the guy pressing the frets. Are they going to take that extra time, or is it just another guitar to them? It's just another guitar to them.
Pennyworth said IYV will build guitars to spec. You just have to reach out by email.
Yeah, but what, I guess I'm not coming across the right way. What I'm saying is that factory builds to this quality level, okay? That's what they build to. They're not going to retool to build a couple guitars to a better quality level. So whatever IYV makes, that guitar can only be as good as that, because that's manufacturing. The tooling in the plant is set up to do X. They can't just all of a sudden produce something better.
Pennyworth said, I don't know how he pronounces his name, Sean or Sean. Sends his own CNC files. I don't know more than that.
Yeah, that's unless you know them directly and there's no language barrier, that sounds like that's a complete train wreck. And the reason I know that is I have sent CNC files to Carolina Stair. I've sent CNC files to Bass Stair in Florida. I've sent CNC files to Mr. Stair. A lot of stair work I used to do in CNC programming.
That's why his Reaper looks the way it does.
Yeah, the one guitar I saw, the pocket of the body and the neck didn't conform. They looked disconjointed, if that makes sense. That's why I was never really interested in getting one. I don't know if that's the one you're speaking of or not, but it had a huge pocket joint. It was very strange. But if you don't know the machine, I'll put it to you this way. Like, I could send files easily to Carolina Stair for one reason. They had a shop bot. Well, I had many hours at one of our plants that had a shop bot. I knew the shortcomings of that machine, and I knew how to program around it. But if I'm sending something to Bass that has a Haas, I got very little time under my belt, under a HF5 or whatever that Haas is, to be able to really use that machine to its maximum efficiency, if that makes sense.
Pennyworth said yes, awful.
Yeah, you have to understand, just because it's a CNC, there's different controls. Is it an Allen Bradley control? Is it a Farnock control? Is it some proprietary self-programmed where it's a proprietary coding and you've got to convert your G code to run on their proprietary mapping? That's a nightmare. There's so many things that can come into play. That's why I watch who I write programs for. If I'm not familiar with the machines that they have, sure, I can write G code for that machine. Does that machine read G code? Or, like I said, or is it some proprietary coding that I have to in turn go, okay, what's G57 in this machine's language? Does it understand offsets? Do I have to program the offsets in, or can I use, a node in multiple locations? Is that still G54 to G60? there's a lot of different things that comes into play, guys. What I'm saying is that plant's set up to do X. So the quality level that that plant makes on that production line is about what that quality level is. That's why PRS does not build their guitars in the same plant as the rest of the guitars overseas. They have built their own building, okay? And all they build is PRS. Why is that? If what I'm saying is not true, why would PRS build a separate building from a huge guitar manufacturing complex to build his instrument? Because he wants it built a certain way. He wants to be able to write an hour from my house. This is what I want, and send it to him. It's going to have a like-minded machines, people trained to do it the way they want, not the way Cortex wants, or Samac, or whoever. I don't know who builds the PRS, whether it's Cord or Samac or who, but they build a separate building. So PRS has control of that tooling. Whether they're running at X feed rate or this feed rate or the quality of the materials, the staging of the materials is all under control and specification of PRS. If, I don't know if it's Cord, if someone knows if it's Cord or Sasmac or wherever that company is, their staging in their other factory for whether it's Epiphone or Ibanez or BC Rich, whoever it is that they're building guitars for, they have X material. Is it staged? Does it sit for a year? Does it sit for 6 months? What I'm saying is that plant is set up to do X. You can't expect them to run 50 guitars. I don't know how many Scar's building. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say by some miracle he's ordering 1,000 guitars. Okay? They're not stopping their plant for 1,000 guitar order. They're not going to go, oh, these have to set an extra 6 months because Scar wants his blanks to set 6 months. Not for 1,000 guitars. They're going to fulfill that order with Ibanez because Ibanez needs all these S models made that aren't made in Japan. That's what they're going to do. And it's going to be sourced right from how they do things. They're not going to change. And if Ibanez wants that, then Ibanez will have to do what PRS did. Build a separate building, do the machines that they want, and have X employees that learn how they want that thing built.
Benigor said I should clarify, I don't care for that model we're talking about. I'm not the one to say what is good or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be the greatest thing since sliced cheese, guys. What do I always say? When you walk into a music store, just pick it up and play it. Because I'll pick up an instrument, I'm like, whoa, didn't think this thing would play that way. The Yamaha RevStar is proof of that. That's not a guitar 4 years ago that I would have went into the music store and even thought about picking up. But I would look at that and go, I'm not playing that. That thing's funky looking and it's just not my speed. Come to find out, one, it sounds awesome. Two, it plays awesome. So his guitar could have a funky ass neck joint and a funky ass headstock on it, and it plays great. I mean, look at the Taylor guitars. You want to talk about an ugly headstock? They've got the crown, the ugliest headstock in the industry, Taylor. But it works for them. When people see it, well, that's got to be a Taylor because that's ugly. I know it's ugly. They know it's ugly, but it's their headstock, and they're sticking to it. I don't know of anyone that thinks that headstock looks pretty, but that's their headstock, if that makes sense. So if he's got something kooky going on or a weird body shape, I haven't put one in my lap to see how ergonomic it is. You know, how does it set in your lap in relation to where you're strumming? It may be great. I know some of these offset bodies, that's why they do it. They're trying to shift the guitar to make it to where you're strumming in a different location. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about it. I just, when I looked at it, it was not something that I'm interested in doing for a couple reasons. He doesn't make enough of them to justify me looking at it, if that makes sense. Not saying that I'm better than him or anything else, but why would I do a review on a guitar that there might be, I don't know how many he does a year?
Birdman said which model Taylor?
Not Taylor, Tyler, sorry, not Taylor, Tyler guitars. Taylor's gone. What's he talking about? Ugly looking headstock. Tyler guitars. That is the worst looking headstock I've ever seen on a guitar. And they're all the same. I don't know if I can find a picture of that.
Benjamin Spudich says hi. Happy Saturday night, everyone.
Hey, happy Saturday night. Let me see if I can find a picture of one of those. Yeah, it's James Tyler. And there's one on eBay, so I'm going to share my screen and we all can look at the funny looking headstock. I'm sorry. That's the headstock he puts on every guitar. And these aren't cheap instruments. These are, I think the cheapest one you can get is probably about $6,000 for a James Tyler. And that's his headstock shape. Somebody here might think it's great. To me, that looks like something that there was a missed routine on the CNC and they were just like, don't worry about it, Bob. No one will ever tell the difference. I just, to me, that's, but that's why there's so many different guitars out there. Someone might go, that's the coolest looking headstock I've ever seen. To me, that's the ugliest headstock I've ever seen. Now, this is a pretty elaborate guitar by them as far as the color and stuff. But these are awesome instruments. They are handmade. They are great, great instruments. 100% great instrument. Just has a funny looking headstock. That's just my opinion. And if you weren't familiar with that brand, now you know about them. Go look at them. They're expensive guitars. They are. They're expensive guitars. But
Birdman said $9,000 for that.
well, you have to look at it this way, Birdman. You gotta look at it as it's a handmade instrument.
Kurt said who ate crayons and threw up.
Well, that's just one of them. They do have some solid colors, but it's a handmade instrument. So let's say I was going to build a couple custom guitars, and if I outsourced the neck and did my own body on the CNC and did all the parts, let's just say I wanted to pay myself $20 an hour. Okay, I think that's pretty cheap. They pay that at Sheets where I live because it's so expensive to live here. So you can mop the floors at Sheets and get that here. I would still have to be in the $2,000 range. Could I do that and make a living? They're absolutely not. If I spent 24/7 building guitars at $20 an hour, I couldn't pay my bills. So I think I could do it for $1,800, $1,900 and build it'd be good parts, good hardware, not soft metal stuff, good hardware, good tuners, a solid neck, a solid body, build a nice instrument. With my time doing a double chamfered fret, good setup, build a nice instrument. Okay? Would it be any better than my Schecter over there? Probably not. It wouldn't be. Okay? I'm being honest with you. Schecter builds a lot of guitars. Okay? You can't beat someone at their own game. I don't care what Scar says. I don't care what Tease says. Okay, tease is another one. You can't beat a large manufacturer at their own game. If they want to, they will bury you. They have the money, they have the resources, they have the production. If they want to build a $300 guitar and put Firefly out of business, they will. They just don't see the point in it. They don't sell enough guitars to worry about. That's why the exact same thing with Scar. Why would they worry about it? They're not taking enough of their market share to even worry about it. So there's enough people that's going to buy their instruments. You know, that again, I want to circle back why I brought all this up. If we want to complain about manufacturers building bad instruments for what we pay for them, what do? Well, me getting on here and just like the whole Sweetwater debacle, that doesn't do us anything. What does us? Return it. What I did. You don't think it's worth what you paid for it? Return it. Because every guitar that gets returned, Ibanez will keep notice of that. Now, in my case, I think Sweetwater put it back on the floor and resold it. So maybe Ibanez never even found out about it. But if you got a quality control issue, you're like, oh, it's just this, I'm going to fix it. Well, guess what? If they built 500 of those guitars and 490 people kept them and said, it's just one little issue, I'll take care of it, Ibanez is going to be like, hey, keep the production line going, no problems. Why? They only had 10 returns. Why make a change on your production run? 490 of them went out the door. But if they got 100 of them back, they're like, whoa, we need to fix this production. That's how you fix it. You don't fix it by going, I know I just paid $1,000, but it's only one fret. I'll fix that. Send it back. If everyone in the next week bought a guitar and felt, and took it back to the vendor and said, this is not going to cut it, you would instantly, within 6 months, see a manufacturing change in our products. You would. But you're not seeing it because manufacturers, it's about money. I don't care if you're an Ibanez fan. I don't care if you're a Gibson fan. It comes down to money. They want to make money. They have to sell product to make money. If that product gets returned, they got to reprocess it, fix it, or do whatever with it. They're losing money. They have to make that product just to the point where it's acceptable. Does that make sense? And it sounds horrible, but this is business. To make it as cheap as they can possibly make it with the fewest amount of man hours to where you don't return it. That's the sweet spot. I don't care if it's Kramer, Schecter, Epiphone. It doesn't matter. That's their target. That's just business. So if they're not getting returns, they're going to think, we've nailed it, guys. We have produced this instrument at X. We're making X and we're not getting but 5% returns. Whatever that is. We can live with that. But if they get up to 30% on the returns, we're like, why are these coming back? What are they complaining about? Oh, they're saying it's scratchy frets. Okay. We need to step up the production on, let's give them a little bit. Let's put another 15 minutes in the frets. Or 5 minutes more on the frets. Whatever it takes. It ain't going to be 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes more per guitar to lightly go over the frets a little more. How's this batch coming? Oh, it went down to 10% coming back. Okay, well, what are they complaining about? They're going to find that spot. So the only way to get these companies to build better for what you're paying for, you're the purchaser. You either don't buy it, say, I'm not spending that for that instrument, it's not worth it, Or when you buy it, you find an issue, you return it. That's the only thing these larger companies understand. Period. And what's really sad when it comes down to it, I was in a small factory programming CNC machines. We only did a couple $1,000,000 a year, okay? Maybe 10 million a year. That's a small company. That's a small company. We would put ourselves in a position where we had to lower the quality, okay, if we had a mistake. Whether it was a CNC mistake, whether it was a design mistake, if we had to go back and do something and repair something or rerun something, on the back end, something had to suffer. Because you only had X amount of money and X amount of time to produce that product. So if there was one or two mistakes, you're done. At that point, it's about completing the product and breaking even as it goes out the door. If you disagree with that, then you've never been in manufacturing. Because you have to produce the product, and there's another company an hour away producing the exact same thing trying to undercut you. You can't have mistakes. So these companies have got it figured out. They know what it takes to manufacture. So when I see these little companies, it's hard for them. It is. It's hard. I have the utmost respect for them. But when I hear them say we do it better, that's not necessarily true, guys. They may tell you that, but is it really better? That's what you guys need to be aware of. And that's why I started the channel, because I saw a lot of things that just didn't make sense. I've looked at fireflies, and some of the fireflies, man, the routing and the general woodworking on it is incredible for $250. But you're getting cheap tuners, cheap hardware. It's just the nature of the beast. But when you can find a guitar, let's say like this one, that comes in at the 475 mark, it's got decent tuners on it. It's got decent pickups in it, a decent bridge. The fit and finish is good. Is this the sweet spot? Is the Ibanez sweet spot right here? Or do you need to go up to the $600 or $700? Every company is going to be a little different. Every model might be a little different. And that's what we're trying to find. You know, what did I say? If you're going to change pots, expect maybe a 2 or 3% difference. So every little thing you do, you add 2% here, 5% there, percent here. At the end result, from buying an $8,000 Gibson versus a $4,000 Gibson, how much better is the 8? It's probably not any better. I hate to say that. 2%, 3%. It comes down to, do you want it? Do you want that product? That Schecter right there. That's a $1,650 guitar. Do you want it? Is that guitar, in my mind, worth $1,650? 100% it is. Even though the pickup walks up and it has a problem, I still feel that's a lot of instrument for $1,650. It is. Again, I can't build that guitar for anywhere near that kind of money, especially since it's a neck through. You've got to be right, because there is no shimming the neck to correct an incorrect neck pocket. You either get it right or it's a wasted piece of wood. A neck through guitar has to be right, period. You can't be off, 0.1 degrees. It's got to be right. So in that case, 100% worth it. But it's up to you as the buyer. Like every time I pick this guitar up, okay, for this price point, that's why I'm saying if you get the opportunity, this is a great guitar. Now, for someone in here, $900 for a Les Paul with a reverse headstock and a Floyd on it, they might be going, you're crazy. Why would I buy that? I'm going to buy a Fender Player 2 Telecaster. Maybe that's the guitar that they want. And they're looking at the bridge and the pickups in that Fender Player, for $850, and to them, that's the instrument that they feel warrants that money. Does that kind of make sense? That's why very rarely do you hear me really call something junk. They have to continuously have a bad product. And I look at it and it's bad. I look at it, it's bad. At some point, you kind of go, okay, this company continuously has problems. But that doesn't mean that you can't buy one and fix it, if that makes sense. I'm not gonna pound that dead horse anymore on who I'm talking about. If you've been around, you know which company I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I'm gonna steal it back from Devastator. So everyone keep up with Devastator in the Discord chat. He should be getting it by next weekend. I don't know what the lead time is going to be for him, but we're going to get it in the mail to him on Wednesday. He's going to be really happy with it. It's going to a good home. And like I said, that clears out some room here for another. I'm going to call, especially in today's market, $800 to $1,100 is a mid-grade instrument. So that's going to allow room for the channel to get another mid-grade instrument in, do a review on, and that's just more information for you guys. I was thinking about the new Ibanez S model that is $650. It looks kind of cool. I was looking at that, and I was actually looking at a neck-through Harley Benton that's $550. Both of them have great specs on paper. I don't know. The Harley Benton just looks awesome on paper for $550. EMG pickups, neck through body, fixed tail, nice specs. What was that, hon?
Niles says he's thinking about buying a Head Rush Prime. Anyone have any experience with these?
There was a big conversation, Niles, on the Head Rush and the Quad Cortex and a bunch of the other units.
Apparently, Kurt has experience with it.
Yeah, Kurt has quite a bit of experience with them, so that's the man to talk to. I've never played through one, but Kurt would be the man to talk to. I know that there was a big conversation on the Discord about the floor units and which way to go on a modeling amplifier. I think we were talking to Devastator on that, and we ended up going with like a Head Rush unit and two powered PA speakers, and that was going to be the amplifier and speakers. It's kind of hard to beat that combination at that price point. You can just get one. You don't fall for this FR cab. Get yourself just a nice PA driver, power driver, and plug it into it. You don't need this. Oh, it's designed for guitar. It's a full frequency cab. Try to find something that's moderately flat. They all add color. Don't let anybody tell you they don't. It's a speaker. It adds color. So just get yourself a nice PA, powered PA speaker. Plug the thing right into it and jam. It's a great platform. And then when you want to go stereo, try to pick a PA speaker that you can go back and get another one just like it, and then your stereo. It's a great, and you can grow. If you got a keyboard and a bunch of other stuff, you can get a mixing board, then run the Head Rush into the mixing board, your keyboard into the mixing board, all these things, and then your powered drivers on the back side of the mixing board. Now you've got a little studio. You don't necessarily need a guitar amp anymore. It is really coming down to that. And this is coming, again, from a rack mount tube guy. Today's world, I don't think I would do. Well, I know I wouldn't. It's far too expensive to build my rack tube amp versus what I could do in a modeling / synergy way, if that makes sense. I would just do an Aux Effects rack mount unit, the 3, with a synergy, and that's it. I wouldn't worry about a power amplifier or a 4-speaker enclosure. I would run that right into my board to my control room monitors, and that would be it. I would still have my tube preamp and have all my effects. And still, even at today's prices, I would only be at $5,000, and that would be a state of the art system. Still far cheaper than what I have now, if that makes sense. But you don't have to go all that way. These Head Rush and the new Line 6, even a little HX Stomp, works all the same way. So don't be scared of it. Just go out and play with them and find out what fits you, if that makes sense. 17 minutes, still 52. Is that Birdman's talking about a birthday? I thought he just had his birthday.
No, he's talking about, I think, a guitar on the Goodwill line.
He bid it on another guitar.
I don't know.
What are you bidding on now, Birdman? I'm looking back on the chat to make sure I haven't missed anything. I know I must have been talking because my throat's sore. Back, I'm reading Devastator's comment. It says, Jupe's talking smack about your headless guitar, Kurt. I'm actually looking at another headless guitar.
Yeah, when you were talking about goofy headstocks, and then Jupe said now they're just cutting them off.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at another headless guitar, guys. I don't know if I'm going to order one or not, because remember last stream I said we only had like 4 guitars left to review. Come to find out, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 guitars still here waiting for review.
Birdman said Ibanez GAX 70 that's white.
Yep. And it's at 50. Would you say 50 some bucks? That's a steal.
52, I think.
The neck and body's worth more than that. I'll go back and look at the Discord conversation and see what was said. Yeah, Tim. And if Kurt's in there, just ask Kurt. Now, he's working tonight, but he's usually in there each evening. Just post something. You can go over to the live chat and talk to him. He's really good about that kind of stuff. But he's going to pretty much tell you what I just said. If you get something like that, you can do PA drivers, and then you can build on it as you go. Because that's what I'm doing. Like, I've got this little Yamaha amp set up for the live stream. Well, I don't unplug anything. I just, if I want to play and I don't want to turn on my rack mount unit, I just plug into it and I turn the volume up on my main output of my Mackie. And that goes to my little Crown Power amp to my 2 Wolfdale control room monitors. And that's how I play it when I'm just sitting here. So all I literally have to do is go over and control room out down to 0, turn on the interface, and it goes straight to you guys. It's a real simple setup. And if I don't want to do any of that, I can just unplug the headphone jack and just play it as a standalone amplifier in the room. Yeah, it's a good solution. Uh-oh, what's your limit? Don't tell him, Birdman. He's already found it, and he's going to outbid you by $1. That's proprietary information. That's the spirit. I'll max, so 76. Okay, Steve, that means you got to bid 77, maximum bid. That's what I would do anyway. So I'm still waiting for people to chime in on the free guitar. I see the viewer count goes up and back. If you're just coming in, checking out the stream, we are giving away a guitar. You have to be publicly subscribed, and then to enter, you have to go to Discord and go to Guitar Op-In and put your name. And if your name is different on Discord than it is on YouTube, please put your YouTube name there so Devastator can keep track of it. We're still kind of waiting to see how many entries. We're thinking 25 to 30. And that's pretty good odds for a guitar. And everyone that you see to your right is the people to thank for the giveaway, because that's who's made it possible, if that makes sense. So we're doing that, and did Mikey should have got his pedal, right? Or when was it? Monday.
I think he got his pedal.
Is Mikey still in the chat? I haven't seen Mikey here lately. Mikey, if you're still in the chat, have you received your pedal yet? We sent Mikey's pedal out, and I'm kind of curious whether or not he's received it yet or not. Mikey won a contest the other week. I'm not. He was here earlier, but I don't think he's still here. He's probably already gone. Correct. It's an add-on with the core. The processor is then the same in both, I can tell. So it just comes down to extra features. Yeah. A lot of those are going to be about the same. Like the Helix LT and all those. I think it comes down, if y'all are talking about it comes down to what architecture you're used to. I'm not used to any of it, if that makes sense, because the architecture I'm used to, no one uses that type of architecture anymore on digital signal processing. So for me, it's going to be a learning curve no matter what I pick up. Pinagore says, I'm out of the new guitar drawing. Yeah, there's been a couple people, Pinagore, that's elected not to be in it. And that's fine. That just opens up a better case for other people. But I appreciate everyone that's chimed in and put money towards the kitty for the guitar. It really does. It helps a lot. And the upstanding people that we have here that's put in, that's pulled their name out, to me that's just incredible. So if you're not familiar with it, that's what we're doing. You have to go to the Discord and log into that. And then again, like I said, I keep looking over at the viewer count. You don't have to be subscribed to chat. So that's the whole point. And I want you to chat and communicate with everyone that's to your right. They're good people. So if you're new here, come on board, do some chatting. You'll find that everyone here is really good. At the end of the stream, hopefully you'll hit the subscribe button and the like button. We do have a Discord server. Devastator just put that information up. If you can go there and check it out, there's always someone on there chatting. All right, guys, I think I'm done with everything that I had going on. Oh, we had Annoying Critic in the group. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he's still in the chat. I haven't seen Annoying Critic for a while. So it would be the choice of number 2. I'm not too sure on that one, Birdman.
He said there's a Spectrum Strat there too, Burst. We're just talking on it.
Oh, a Spectrum Strat. Yeah, I used to bid on a lot of that stuff, and it seems like the last 2 or 3 minutes, everyone just kind of comes in on the tail end. I think they wait, and then they just pile in at the last second.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I pull my hair out waiting. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, am I going to get it? I'm going to get it. And then the last 30 seconds, it goes, whoosh. It's like, okay, really? So I just kind of stopped bidding on stuff, if that makes sense. Now I just find the product, and if they're asking a little much for it, I'll send them an offer and see if I can get it. He said, I'm out, Birdman. Oh, I would have did like 78, 79. I would have told him like 77 and then made it like $2 more. That way when he overbidded you by $1, you still got it. All right, guys. I think I'm pretty much done for tonight. I don't really have anything else to go over. If I'm missing something, Devastator, could you please type in the chat? I think we've covered everything. All the business stuff anyway. But I want to thank everybody for coming. It means so much for me when I do the Saturday night streams and the Thursday night streams. And I see the same people come. It means a lot to me.
Devastator said Avery is ruthless.
What's this?
He said you're ruthless.
I'm ruthless.
Talking about the bidding.
Oh, yeah. Well, you gotta be ruthless under, what do they call that? Undercover ruthless? Ha! That's what I would do.
Update on Jupe's guitar.
Update on Jupe's guitar. Jupe's guitar. I got the posts in, and I'm getting ready to set the tremolo, the bass part of the tremolo. And once that's in, I can reattach the neck. So I'm not going to take it any further than that. Okay, once I get the neck in, I'm not going to adjust the neck. Then I'm going to work on the electronics. And I'm going to do the pickup and the post and the bridge and the neck set all in the next video. So that probably be about a week and a half for that video. But once that one's done, his guitar will be very close to complete. There is a certain thing I'm doing to it that I'm not going to video. Well, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I don't want it to show up on camera until I do the demo of the guitar. So I'm doing something to the guitar that I don't necessarily want to film, but is going to make it better. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to record around that so you can't see it until the unveiling, if that makes sense. So Jupe's guitar is there. The neck is complete. I got it sanded down to like a 2500, and it sat long enough to where by the time I get to the next stage and it's assembled, I should be able to sand it down and put 2 coats of tried and true on it, and it should be right. Anytime you start cutting that much off the neck, it's opened up the pores in the neck, okay? So you have to be careful. The guitar needs to acclimate and the wood fibers expand back out. Then you have to sand it down, let it acclimate, and it's had plenty of time for that. So that's the update on Jupe's guitar. And I'll probably be I recorded everything on this guitar, so it wasn't that much to it. I might release a video this week on that. If we do, we'll still do the live stream on Thursday, but it'll probably be a small video on polishing the frets, doing the fret touch-up, and doing a slight setup on the Kramer here. So look forward to that review. And that should be a good video for you guys that are just wanting to do a tune-up. So we'll call that the tune-up video. All right, well, if you're familiar, we're going to do our 5-minute ending screen, guys. And then, don't forget, Discord. But any conversation that you all are having right now and you all want to add, remember, come back and put a comment on the live stream. That way YouTube pushes it. The chat rate's been pretty decent on this stream, so I think it's been a pretty good interactive stream. It's been hit and miss, especially because of me. My little squirrel brain's been all over the place tonight. All right.
Niles wants to know when you're planning on the Shecker review.
We might do that Thursday night. I don't want to say for sure, depending on how well the video processing goes on the Kramer stuff. But I think we might do it this Thursday. We're reviewing something on Thursday. I just don't know whether or not it's going to be the Schecter yet or not. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to load that up at least a day ahead. That way it'll get a little bit more traction, if that makes sense. Especially on the live reviews. I really need to post that a day or two in advance. That way YouTube can, kind of show it to more people and they'll know it's coming. Another reason why the channel grows slow is I only come in about an hour before the live streams and set up the video. So it's not like someone that was on 4 hours ago would even come across YouTube pushing the nightly stream. Because I don't even log in and set it up for about an hour before the stream. So there's little tiny things that I need to actually start changing.
Mikey just said later on. He never answered if he got the...
Oh, Mikey, you are still in the group. Did you get the pedal? Has the pedal made it to you yet? I know there's a delay, so I'll wait around a little bit. I'm very curious to see whether or not he got the pedal. I want to say he should have got it by now.
I would think.
I'm still waiting. I hear the Jeopardy music in the background.
Actually, no, he might not get it till Monday.
Yeah, I was thinking Monday.
No, this coming Monday.
Oh, is that what you think it was this coming Monday?
I think so.
All right, well, Mikey might not have it. Linnell says she's thinking it was supposed to show up on Monday,
Yeah, the 21st.
the 21st. Okay. I think Mikey come in. He's got us muted. All right. All right, guys. Again, thanks so much for coming into the chat and making the stream what it is. I can't get over how great you guys are. 100%. It's a great community we're building. And I'll talk to everyone on Discord, and we'll see you again next Thursday night, guys. Thanks so much. And here's our ending screen, if this is the right one.